What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm here to do a review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 13, episode 1. I think this season may start off kind of slow because this episode really wasn't much. It was basically just to set up the storylines that are going to happen this season. So let's go ahead and get started. The first lady that I want to talk about is Porsha Williams. Or should I say Portia Luther the King Jr., because Porsha is really out here on the front lines. She has been marching, she's been protesting, she is, working with the right people that are a part of the movement, Black Lives Matters, and honestly, it's amazing to see because this is a whole different side of Porsha, because we've seen her as the fun girl, the good time girl, but to see her in this activism role, I am a fan of it. I think she should keep going, and I love seeing this side of Porsha. Like, I just feel like she really took the time to educate herself on different issues. Like, you can clearly tell that she's not doing this just for clout. Like, she's not trying to jump on a movement just because it's popular right now. I really feel like Porsha wants to help people. She wants to see justice for Black people, and I am all for that. We also did see that she actually got arrested. I think that we all have seen those pictures of her when she got arrested. I believe it was Yandy and Tamika Mallory and like a few others who have been fighting that good fight. They all got arrested. And I did love in her interview, she was just like, this taught me that I would do it again. And like, we need people like that, because honestly, our community does not have those type of leaders that are willing to go to jail. They are willing to work, to be in the front, the forefront of this movement, and I think it's just amazing. That's pretty much all that we saw of Porsha, though. I did notice that Dennis was with her a few of those times that she was protesting. I'm like, oh, Dennis is still around. Okay, Porsha girl. If you like it, girl. If you like it. So the next lady that I want to talk about is actually Miss Kandi Burruss Tucker. So first of all, I just want to say that I'm trying not to address Riley's new nose, because clearly we all can tell that she got a nose job. My personal opinion is that Riley didn't have to get one. I mean, she literally had Candy's nose, and I don't see anything wrong with Candy's nose, so I don't understand why Riley, she went and got a nose job, but then again, her nose is still very new, so maybe in a few months everything will settle and her nose will look fine. As far as that storyline of the situation with Block not paying child support, I don't really want to see this storyline play out, just because I feel like that is more of something that has to do with Riley than Kandi, just because I feel like this mostly affects Riley, considering it's her dad and how he doesn't want to step up and be a father to her, which he hasn't done in 18 years, it sounds like. I just feel like Riley definitely had her point when she was saying, like, we tried this when I was 15 years old. At this point, I don't feel like I need him. I don't feel like I need to have Block as a dad. And like, I understand that a lot of people probably feel like, well, that's her dad, she needs to try to work on that relationship. But at the same time, like, she now has Todd as a stepdad. Like, let's not disregard Todd because her real dad is her biological dad. Like, at the end of the day, Todd has stepped up, Todd has stepped in, and I feel like she is now in a place where she is comfortable talking to Todd about any type of situation that she probably wants a male perspective on. Like, I really feel like Riley and Todd, they have probably worked on their relationship. We don't know these people personally, but I'm pretty sure at this point they have worked on their relationship. And if she, needs that male figure, she can probably go to Todd. Like, sometimes I wish that people would realize that once someone remarries and, their spouse takes on that role of being a stepdad, like, that's a big role. Like, you are that person's dad. And I really think that I understand why Riley feels the way that she does, as well as I absolutely agree with Todd when he stepped in. Because if you notice, he definitely knew when to step in and when to let Candy and her daughter have that conversation, which I absolutely respect. Because the situation was Candy talking about Riley going to school, because she's going to be going to NYU, which is an amazing school. I'm very happy for Riley. And Riley feels like her dad needs to be paying, some type of tuition or something because he hasn't put in at all on her life. And I agree, he definitely needs to pay something because it's not fair that this girl's mom has to take on everything, regardless of how much money Candy makes. He should still be held accountable for paying for something when it comes to Riley. Like, that's honestly the bare minimum that he can do. So, while they're having that conversation, though, Todd was washing the car. But once they got to the point of Riley saying, I don't feel like I need to have a relationship with him. And then for Candy to be like, well, you should just try and all this stuff. I love that Todd stepped in and he's like, no. Block is supposed to set the standard because at the end of the day, he is the adult, Riley is the child. There is no way, which I hate this thing that has happened, that these children have to run and chase after their fathers when it is their father's job to step up and be like, you know what? I need to take care of my responsibility. I need to be the one that reaches out. I need to be the one who, is trying, at least trying to build a bond with my child. So I am all here for that. I feel like Todd, he put in a good word to be on Riley's side. I was here for it. We later see Candy. She is, on her way to their next business venture. As you all know, Candy opens up a business every season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, and at this point I cannot knock her because she seems to be the only one who gets it right. At the top of the season, we're hearing about a new business. By the end of that season, that business is thriving. That business is opening. Something is happening with that business. She knows how to promote her businesses. So now she's going to be having a steakhouse in Atlanta. I am not from Atlanta, but I do love me a good old steak, and I think that it's smart. I think that her and Todd really work well together with coming up with these businesses and are able to, open up so many doors for themselves, because at the end of the day, if Housewives of Atlanta was to stop, please know Candy would be okay. Okay? Alright, so that pretty much wraps up all that I have to say about Candy. There wasn't really much there this episode. Alright, so the next lady that I'm going to discuss is actually going to be Miss Kenya Moore. Honestly, even though Kenya said that, she gained 30 pounds, it doesn't look bad on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, her body is still very proportioned, and I think that Kenya looks beautiful regardless of the 30 pounds or not. As far as the situation with her and Mark, I just really want her to get a divorce. Because at the end of the day, I don't like the way that Mark talks to her. I don't really like the way, Mark treats her. But at the same time, I feel like Kenya does play a part in this marriage falling apart. And here's what I have to say about that. So if you guys recall, when she had first got married to Mark, nobody knew about it. None of the girls, anything like that. She went away. She went to, spend so much time with him in New York. And then after they got married, she had to come back, film Housewives of Atlanta. That season, she was still kind of like in and out, from here. I mean, not from here, from Atlanta to New York. But I feel like later on, she just more so stayed in Atlanta. And like, how do you feel like your marriage is going to work when you both are in separate places? I'm sorry, but I just never understood that. Like, she always would complain about how, Mark is in New York, Mark is in New York. And I'm like, yeah, you married someone who has businesses in New York. Therefore, he needs to stay there. At the end of the day, I feel like it sounds like Kenya should have made more effort to go up to New York. Or I don't know if she should have tried to finesse her way into moving on to the Housewives of New York or something. Just because I feel like that like first year, 2 years of marriage, you need to be with your partner. Like, there's so many things that happen within those first 2 years of you being with someone throughout a marriage that I feel like she should have been there with him. And I feel like, honestly, the distance is one of the main problems that is in her relationship, but they never talk about that. And I find that to be bogus, that no one ever talks about how they have a huge distance problem, which leads to a communication problem, which leads to all these other problems. So on this episode, we saw her, she went to go talk to some guy, I think he's like an attorney or something, about, possibly, well, not even possibly, what her options are with divorcing Mark. File for legal separation, try to figure out the custody of Brooklyn, all those things. And oh my gosh, just want to say, Brooklyn is the cutest little girl. I happen to see like a photo of her on Instagram. So cute. And I feel like we've had this conversation with Kenya before, last season. Or am I crazy? I feel like she went to go talk to someone about divorcing Mark before. So I feel like the guy who she was talking to, he definitely dropped some gems on her when they were done with that conversation. And he's like, these women in entertainment, you guys have pushed off, getting married, having a family for so long because you're going for your career. Like, what his failures are not your failures. And I was like, you know what, that right there is a word, because at the end of the day, Mark treating her bad, and the way he talks to her and how he kind of lashes and spazzes out at her, that is absolutely on him. Now, I will say that again, I feel like that distance between Kenya and Mark, she probably never really got to see that side of him in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And also, I feel like Kenya, she definitely plays her part in things as well, because again, she's going to play it up on this show to make sure that we see that she's really going through it. And I feel like, is she going through it? Absolutely. But is it played up a little bit? Sure. Like, why wouldn't she? I just really hope that, for Brooklyn's sake, that her and Mark can figure it out. Either you guys are going to be together or you're not. I need them to really get some counseling, especially considering the way he talks to her and how, it makes her feel. And I just really want for Kenya to be happy. Actually, I think that all these women, they deserve to be happy. Like, all of them have been through enough in their life. They're all in their 40s and their 50s, and everyone deserves happiness. Absolutely. And also, I just think that Brooklyn, again, is just like the cutest little girl, and she deserves to have parents that are respectful enough, to not be so nasty towards each other. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say about Kenya. Oh wait, also her backyard, that is going to look amazing. I can't wait to see, her backyard be completed. I'm hoping that it's completed by the end of this season so that we can see it on this season. Because I mean, the pool, the jacuzzi, the play area for Brooklyn, like, that's gonna look really nice, and I'm all here for that. So lastly, you guys, I guess I want to talk about Cynthia Bailey, or should I say Titty Scent, because her boobs were definitely out. And I mean, her body looks great. I know that she said that she's gained, some quarantine weight, and I feel like all of us have gained a little bit of weight during this quarantine time. I mean, living through COVID right now is crazy. We did get to see, her and Mike, and I mean, they just seem so happy together. Like, they're like glowing. They are in like bliss. I didn't need to hear him describe the sounds that she makes. I think he said that she sounds like a car starting. That was actually pretty funny. But when it came down to that wedding situation and how she was told that, they could only have 50 guests, and, she's invited, I think it was 250 people that actually attended her wedding. So, we know that her wedding is definitely going to have the number of people that she wants there. But for her to really be like so headstrong about, no, like, I deserve this wedding, I deserve to have, my 250 guests, like, I understand all of that, but I also understand where Mike was coming from. Because at the end of the day, the wedding is beautiful. It's what every girl dreams about, of having this beautiful wedding. But at the end of the day, the marriage is the most important part of that day. You agreeing that this is your life partner is the most important part of that day. So I understand why he said, if it's just me and you, I don't care. I just want to be married to you. But on the other hand, we have Cynthia, who, her last marriage, for her, it was terrible. And like, not even just the marriage, but the wedding, the actual wedding day, was a hot mess. I mean, from her family hiding her marriage certificate to just like so many things going wrong. I just feel like she wants to have her fairy tale wedding. And again, this is something that I must agree, Cynthia definitely deserves it, but I feel like they both needed to understand where each other were coming from, because Cynthia was coming from a place of, my last marriage was terrible and our wedding was a hot mess. I deserve to have that fairy tale. I deserve to have, all the things that I want, because I am marrying the man that I have finally gotten right. Like, this is the one. This is the man that I am choosing to spend the rest of my life with, and I know that he's the one. And then you have Mark, wrong guy. You have Mike, who is like, I don't care about those other people. I don't care about any of them witnessing us getting married. At the end of the day, I just want to be with you. I only care about you, and I want to be married to you. So I feel like, if push came to shove, I feel like, they would have definitely made that compromise. But as we know, when they got married, there were a lot of people there. There was over 250 guests. So that was pretty much it for the episode. I think the only thing that I missed talking about was when a couple of the ladies kind of met up a little bit. But yeah, that really wasn't that important. That was just Cynthia and Candy supporting Kenya, saying that she needs to leave Mark, which is what everyone has been saying for, since last season. And I think the other meetup was with Marlo. And, Marlo was just being extra, trying to be, I guess you could say, precautious about, COVID. So that was it for the first episode of season 13. You guys, it felt very strange to realize that I'm only talking about 4 housewives because, again, there was no Nene, there was no Eva, not even Tanya, which I feel like, she's like a friend of the show. So, moving forward, I am ready to see more of Housewives of Atlanta. I want to see where the stories goes. I think we're going to meet Drew Sidora on this next episode. And I mean, I know who Drew Sidora is, but I mean, as far as in the Real Housewives of Atlanta world, she's going to be introduced to us, and that should be interesting. So I will catch you guys next time. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I hope to catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye guys.